Okay. Hmm. So, can we read this chapter 12 from the Canto 6? Sindhu Mataji, can you read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vritrasur glorious death. Sukadev Goswami said, desiring to give up his body, Vritrasur considered death in the battle preferable to victory. O King Parikshit, he vigorously took up his trident and with great force attacked Lord Indra, the king of heaven, just as uh, just as Kaitaba had forcefully attacked the supreme personality of Godhead when the universe was inundated. Then Vritrasura, the great hero of the demons, wielded his trident, which had points like the flames of the blazing fire at the end of the millennium. With great force and anger, he threw it at Indra, roaring and exclaiming loudly, O sinful one, thus shall I kill you. Flying in the sky, Vritrasura's trident resembled a brilliant meteor. Although the blazing weapon was difficult to look upon, the king Indra, unafraid, cut it to pieces with the thunderbolt. Simultaneously, he cut off one of the Vritrasura's arms, which was as thick as the body of Vasuki, the king of the serpents. Although one of his arms was severed from his body, Vritrasur angrily approached King Indra and struck him on the jaw with an iron mace. He also struck the elephant that carried Indra. Thus Indra dropped the thunderbolt from his hand. The denizens of various planets, like the gods, demons, Karanas, and Siddhas, praised Rutrasur's deed. But when they observed that Indra was in great danger, they lamented, Alas, alas, having dropped the thunderbolt from his hand in the presence of his enemy, Indra was practically defeated and was very much ashamed. He dared not pick up his weapon again. Vritrasur, however, encouraged him, saying, Take up your thunderbolt and kill your enemy. This is not the time to lament your fate. Vritrasur continued, O Indra, no one is guaranteed of being always victorious but the original enjoyer, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. He is the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and he knows everything. Being dependent and being obliged to accept material bodies, belligerent subordinates are sometimes victorious and sometimes defeated. All living beings in all the planets of this universe, including the preceding deities of all the planets, are fully under the control of the Lord. They work like birds caught in a net, who cannot move independently. Our sensory powers, mental power, bodily strength, living force, immortality, and mortality are all subject could you please, to the intendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not knowing this, foolish people think the dull material body to be the cause of their activities. O King Indra, as a wooden doll that looks like a woman, or as an animal made of grass and leaves cannot move or dance independently, but depends fully on the person who handles it. All of us dance according to the desire of the Supreme Controller, the personality of Godhead. No one is independent. The three Purusas, Karodhanaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodhanaka Sai Vishnu, and Shirodhaka Sai Vishnu, the material nature, the total material energy, the false ego, the five material elements, the material senses, the mind, the intelligence, and consciousness cannot create the material manifestation without the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A foolish, senseless person cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although always dependent. He falsely thinks himself the Supreme. If one thinks according to one's previous fruitive actions, one's material body is created by the father and mother, and the same body is annihilated by another agent as another animal in devour by a tiger. This is not proper understanding. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself creates and devours the living being through other living beings. Just as a person not inclined to die must nonetheless less give up his longevity, opulence, fame, and everything else at the time of death, so at the appointed time of victory, one can gain all this when the Supreme Lord awards them by his mercy. Since everything is dependent on the supreme will of the personality of Godhead, one should be equiposed in fame and defamation, defamation, victory and defeat, life and death in their effects. Represented as happiness and distress, one should maintain oneself in equilibrium without anxiety. One who knows that the three qualities, goodness, passion, and ignorance, are not qualities of the soul, but qualities of material nature. And one knows that the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities should be understood to be a liberated person. He is not bound by these qualities. O my enemy, just look at me. I have already been defeated, for my weapon and arm have been cut to pieces. You have already overwhelmed me, but nonetheless with a desire to kill you. I am trying my best to fight. I am not at all mercy, even under such adverse conditions. Therefore, you should give up your senses and continue fighting. O my enemy, consider this battle a gambling match in which our lives are at stakes, the arrows are at dice, and the animals acting as carriers are the game board. No one can understand who will be defeated and who will be victorious. It all depends on providence. Sukadev
Hare
Goswami
Krishna.
said, Hare Krishna.
Maybe from here, if Sai Prabhu, you can read from verse number 18.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yep, thanks.
Hare Krishna.
We can't hear you.
Prabhuji, I will they're affecting the laptop. So, um, stating, Sukadeva Goswami said, hearing the straightforward, instructive words of uh, Vruthasura, King Indra praised him and again took the thunderbolt in his hand. Without bewilderment or duplicity, he then smiled and spoke to Vritasura as follows. Text 19. Indra said, O great demon, I see by your discrimination and endurance in devotional service, despite your dangerous position, that you are a perfect devotee of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Super Soul, and friend of everyone. You have surmounted the illusionary energy of Lord Vishnu, and because of this liberation, you have given up the demonic mentality and have attained the position of an exalted devotee. Text 21. O Rutasura, demons are generally conducted by the mode of passion. Therefore, what a great wonder it is that although you are a demon, you have adopted the mentality of a devotee and have fixed your mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, who is always situated in the pure goodness. A person fixed the devotional service of the Supreme Lord Hari, the Lord of highest auspiciousness, swim in the ocean of nectar. For him, what is the use of water in, in a small ditches? Text 23. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, Vrutasura and King Indra spoke about devotional service even on the battlefield. And then, as a matter of duty, they again began fighting. My dear king, both of them were great fighters and were equally powerful. Text 24. O Maharaja Parikshit, Vrutasura, who was completely able to subdue his enemy, took his iron club, whirled it around, aimed it at Indra, and then threw it at him with his left hand. Text 25. With this thunderbolt named Satap, Satapravan, Indra simultaneously cut to pieces Vrittasura's club and his remaining hand. Text 26. Vrittasura, bleeding profusely, his two arms cut off at their roots, looked very beautiful, like a flying mountain whose wings have been cut to pieces by Indra. Text 27 to 29. Vrittasura was very powerful in physical strength and influence. He placed his lower jaw on the ground and his upper jaw in the sky. His mouth became very deep, like the sky itself, and his tongue resembled a large serpent. With his fearful, death like teeth, he seemed to be very trying to devour the entire universe, thus assuming a gigantic body. The great demon Uttasura shook even the mountains and began crushing the surface of the earth with his legs, as if he were the Himalayas walking about. He came before Indra and swallowed him, and Airavata, his carrier, just as big as Python might swallow an elephant. Text 30. When the demigods, along with Brahma, other Prajapatis, and other great saintly persons, saw that Indra had been swallowed by demon, they became very morose. Alas, they lamented. What a calamity! What a calamity! Text 31. The protective armor of Narayana, which Indra possessed, was identical with Narayana himself. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, protected by the armor and by his own mystic power. King Indra, although swallowed by Vrittasura, did not die within the demon's belly. Text 32. With his thunderbolt, King Indra, who was also extremely powerful, pierced through Vrittasura's abdomen and came out. Indra, the killer of demon Bala, then immediately cut off Vrittasura's head, which was as big as a mountain. Text 33. Although the thunderbolt revolted around Vrittasura's neck with great speed, separating his head from his body took one complete year, 360 days, the time in which sun, moon, and other luminaries complete a northern and southern journey. Then a stable time for Vrittasura to be killed, his head fell to the ground. Uh, then a suitable time. Okay. Text 34. When Vrittasura was killed, Gandharvas and Siddhas in the heavenly planets beat kettle drums in jubilation. The Vedic hymns they celebrated the pro- prowess of Indra, the killer of Vrittasura, praising Indra and showering flowers upon him with great pleasure. Text 35. O King Parikshit, subduer of enemies, the living spark then came forth from Vrittasura's body and returned home, back to Godhead. While all demigods looked on, he entered the transcendental world to become an associate of Lord Sankarsana.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Shesh Sai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
And thanks, Indu Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're joining. And yeah, let's see, maybe for upcoming weeks also, at least half of the chapter if you can read. Yeah, as much as you can join, please join. And
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yes, but this is like I want to say, this Dadichi and Vritrasu like concept was there in my schooling in Hindi class, was in seventh class.
yeah,
So there was just an glimpse like there is a Vajrayudh that killed Vritrasu. That's it. But when we are reading here, it is like everything is clear, and like how Vritrasura is fighting, even when he didn't lose his hope, even though he's dying, he's fighting his best, and and he's very good in God consciousness that he knows that anyway he died, but he's not giving up, and he really we should appreciate like how he's doing his battlefield project. It's nice, like Hare Krishna.
yeah, nice. And Shesh Sai Prabhu, any early thoughts after reading?
Yes, Prabhuji. So I was a little bit conscious while reading, but I followed half of it. I mean, the description, like how
Hmm.
it is described, and I was doubted myself if I am reading correctly that they cut his hands. It was very beautiful. I was rereading why it is
Nice
beautiful when you
observation.
cut the hands.
Yeah, yeah, nice observation. Okay, let's offer prayers and then begin. ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अबधिरेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवत उत्तमाश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this chapter is very nice. Why? Because we get to see how sometimes the demigods get into trouble, but this time the trouble is not hmm, because of the overpowering energy or power of Vritrasura or the demons. Here we can see Vritrasura is in fact we can see him as a devotee also, and that makes it yeah, Vritrasura victorious. This is what we will see from this from this chapter. Let me go back. Yes. Yes. Okay. श्रीऋषिरुवाच एवं जिहासुर्नृपदेहम् आयुः मृत्युं वरं विजयान् मन्यमान शूलं प्रगृह्याभ्यपतत् सुरेन्द्रं यथा महापुरुषं कैटवोऽप्सु. So Shukadeva Goswami continued. He is describing that desiring to give up his body, Vritrasura considered him death in the battlefield preferable to victory. So, of course, the same thing is also what Krishna says to Arjuna. So here we can see, understand the consciousness of Vritrasura, uh, that he was not perplexed because of the situation. Indra was yeah ready on the other side. Yeah, he understood because in the previous chapter also we were taking that Indra took sorry Indra understood the position of Vritrasura, and Vritrasura prepares for battle again, thinking that if he shows his prowess, then Indra will become angry, and when Indra will become angry, then this war will proceed and quickly kill him. Yeah, he anyway know that he doesn't has a chance to win by because it is the will of the Lord. It is the instrument or the weapon that is prepared as per the Lord's instruction, and in fact he is supposed to be killed. But when Vritrasura was telling how he should be. Uh, he was offering prayers to the Lord, and these prayers to the Lord, when Vitrasura is offering, were so touching that Indra might think, "Oh, he is a devotee, and let me not fight with him," and which may delay things. So that's why, although Vritrasura repeatedly encouraged Indra to kill him with thunderbolt, King Indra was morose at having to kill such a great devotee. This is written in the purport, and was hesitant to throw it. So that's why Vritrasura, disappointed that King Indra was reluctant, despite his encouragement, took the initiative very forcefully by throwing his trident. This is what happens. So he vigorously took up his trident and with great force attacked Lord Indra. Uh, just like Kaitaba attacks. Yeah, we know that Lord is called Madhu Kaitabari. Ari means one who has subdued Madhu and Kaitaba demons. So Kaitaba has forcefully attacked the Lord. Similarly, Vritrasura has attacked uh, Indra here. ततो युगान्ताग्नि कठोरजिह्वम् आविद्यशूलं तरसा सुरेन्द्रः क्षिप्त्वा महेन्द्राय विनद्य वीरो हतोऽसि पापेति रुषा जगाद. So, Shipva means throwing. Thus, Vritrasura, the great hero of demons, whirled his trident, which had points like the flames of blazing fire at end of the millennium. Sometimes, if you might have seen these days, what do you call all these little Krishna or Mahabharat or Ramayana or so many with lot of help that the graphic technology is offering advancement. So we can also sometimes see that oh, there are some blazing fire that is at the tip of the weapon and all these things. It's Yeah, inspiration definitely is coming when people read really through the scriptures, and here we see that this Trishul had these flames, blazing flames, as if like they are going to burn, and with great force and anger, he threw it at Indra, roaring and exclaiming loudly, "O sinful one, thou shall I kill you." This is what Vritrasura had spoken, which he wanted to trigger that anger also in Indra. क आपदत्तद् विचलत् ग्रहोल्कवन् निरीक्ष्य दुष्प्रेक्ष्य अजातविक्लवः व्रजेन वज्रीसत पर्वणाच्चिनद् भुजं च तस्य तस्योरग राजभोगम्. So then, flying in the sky, and Vritrasura trident resembled a brilliant meteor. Uh, the word used here is meteor. Is sometimes we know from the astrological when they say then when ulkas or meteors fall, it's not good. So here the trident of Vritrasura is compared like that. Although the blazing weapon was difficult to look upon, King Indra, unafraid, cut it into pieces because he has the thunderbolt. Not only that, he has broken the Trishul into pieces, but he also has cut the right arm of Vritrasura, uh, which was as the body of Vasuki, the king of serpents. चिन्नैकबाहो परिगेन वृत्तः संरद्ध आसाद्य गृहीतवज्रं हनौ तत्तादेन्द्रम् अथाम्यरेभं वज्रं च हस्तां न्यपतन् मघोनं मघोनः. So then what happened is that oh, did I miss one verse? No, yeah, here. Here, but Vritrasura angrily approached King Indra and struck him on the jaw with his iron mace. And not only that, he also struck the elephant that carried Indra. Thus, Indra dropped the thunderbolt from his hand. And then after this, when this happened, then the denizens, what happened is Vritrasya karmati mahadbhutam tat surasarana siddha sangrah. So all the denizens apujayam tat puruhuta samkatam niriksha ha heti vichukrushur brusham. He's saying after this year, they were all saying, they lamented, and of course, they observed what happened and praised Vritrasura's deed. But when they observed Indra was in great danger, they lamented, "Woe, alas, alas." Ha ha, Niriksha, when they were saying ha ha, Vichuk Shushu, they were lamenting. And from that, now when Indra fell, what usually a kshatriya does, yeah, he is just engaging in the fight. Here Vritrasura, what he did was Indro Navajram Jagre Vilajjitas. So what happened is he having dropped the thunderbolt from his hand in the presence of his enemy, Indra was practically defeated and was very much ashamed. He was so much ashamed that he even didn't want to take it up. Hmm? Chutam swa hastad arisannidau punah. He didn't even want to take the weapon again. Tam aha vritro hara atta vajro jahisva shatrum na vishada kala. Hmm. But Vritrasura, however, encouraged him, saying, "Take up your thunderbolt and kill your enemy. This is not the time to lament your fate." Oh, he thought already almost he is defeated, and there is no point to take the weapon, or yeah, it's an insult to take back the weapon. He didn't do that. युत्सतां कुत्रचित् आततायिनां जयः सदैकत्र न वै परात्मनां विनैकम् उत्पत्तिलयस्थितीश्वरं सर्वज्ञम् आद्यं पुरुषं सनातनम्. So from here, verse number 7, Vritrasura is encouraging Indra to fight. He's saying, "Oh Indra, No one is guaranteed of being always victorious but the original enjoyer, the Supreme Lord. So only all time victorious is the Supreme Lord. Mm. And he is the cause of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, and he knows everything. Being dependent and obliged at accept to accept material bodies, belligerent subordinates are sometimes victorious and sometimes defeated. So in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir gnanam apohanam cha. So Vedaischa sarve ahameva vedyo. So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 15:15 is saying that Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. So is there a chance that we can always be victorious? No. It's always the Lord who is victorious because His plan is what is happening in our life. Matta smritir gnanam. From me only comes smritir, remembrance, gnanam, knowledge, apohanam, forgetfulness. These three things are coming from me. Mm. When two parties fight, the fighting actually goes on under the direction of the Supreme Lord, who is Paramatma, the Super Soul. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada mentions is Prakrite Krimanani Gunakarmani Sarvasa Ahankara Vimudatma Kartaham iti manyate. So it is only under the influence of material nature we tend to think that we are the doers. Ahankara Vimudhatma. Because of the influence of those natures, our Ahankar, false pride, is making us to believe that we are the doers. That is what is because the bewildered spirit soul. We are bewildered by the what? Prakriti Kriyamanani, Guru Karmani Sarvashaha. It is that nature. So the living entity are not independent, although they foolishly think themselves the doers. So this this is the point. And victory is always with the Supreme Lord. As for the subordinate living entities, they fight under the arrangement of the Lord. Victory or defeat is not actually theirs, it is another arrangement by the Lord through the agency of material nature. Uh, the pride in victory or moroseness in defeat is useless. One should fully dependent on the Lord. And then why are we fighting? What is the purpose of fighting? It is not to take the credit or to feel embarrassment of loss. No, it is not that. It is the purpose is to stand on side of dharma when adharma is dominating, where we need to protect the dharma. What is protection of dharma is to ensure that the Lord plans are fulfilled, which are for the welfare of for the welfare of the devotees. Yeah. The Lord advises niyatam kuru niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jnayo hi akarmanaha. Oh yeah. This is in the fourth chapter, if I'm not wrong. Krishna is saying, perform your prescribed duties, for action is better than inaction. Or, yeah, fourth or third. The living entity is ordered to act according to his position. Victory or defeat depends on the Supreme Lord. Karman eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So, this is also what we hear, right, in Mahabharata, yeah, when we were seeing the Sunday episodes. The starting is this. It is Mahabharata, yeah. We, as soon as we hear about Mahabharata, we only relate ourselves to Kurukshetra war, where Pandavas and Kauravas fought. But I see the whole Itihas, yeah, is all about fighting, sometimes with inner enemies, sometimes with outer enemies. But the goal is to protect Dharma. And everyone, it is a pity that we are in 21st century where the care that needs to be there to protect Dharma is fading out, yeah, gradually. But it is the duty of us, whatever little we can, we should lead a religious or principled life, and will also have to influence the world for going upward, not downward. If everyone takes such a responsibility, then we can restore religious principles and religious life successfully. So here, I would see myself, of course, here Vitrasura is so advanced devotee, I shouldn't compare. But we can see a demon who is speaking spiritual subjects in such a command. Why? Because he is convinced that it is all to go back to Godhead, to become his associate or to engage in his service. So Vritrasura was fighting actually so that, it was his Vritrasura is encouraging Indra, saying, "Don't be morose because of my victory. There is no need to stop fighting. Instead, you should go on with your duty." Karma Yoga Krishna is also saying the same thing to Arjuna. When Krishna desires, you will certainly be victorious. This verse is very instructive, Prabhupada writes, is very instructive for sincere workers in the Krishna consciousness movement. We should not be jubilant in victory or morose in defeat. We should make a sincere effort to implement the will of Krishna or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we should not be concerned with victory and defeat. Our only duty is to work sincerely so that our activities may be recognized by Krishna. Hmm? What is our only goal is not to be affected by what is happening. Of course, there will be victory, there will be failure, but we should again come back to our main job. What is that? To engage in service of the Lord, and that is what is actually recognized. It's not that have we attained victory or not. uh, Loka sapala yasye me swasanti viva sahvase dvija iva sisha baddaha sakala iha karanam. All living beings in all the planets of this universe, including the preceding deities of all the planets, are fully under the control of the Lord. So, Vritrasura is justifying why he is saying that the Lord is the main who is always victorious. Yeah? He is saying because everything is in his control. They work like birds caught in a net who cannot move independently. Hmm. So the difference between suras and asuras is that suras know that nothing can happen without the desire of the Lord, whereas asuras cannot understand this supreme will of the Lord. In this fight, what is happening? Vritrasura is actually Sura, whereas Indra is the Asura. No one can act independently, rather, everyone acts under the direction of the Lord. Therefore, victory and defeat come according to the results of one's karma, and the judgment is given by the Supreme Lord. Karmana Daiva Netrena, in Bhagavad Gita it is said. Since we act under the control of the Supreme according to our karma, no one is independent. From Brahma down to the insignificant ant. Whether we are defeated or victorious, Supreme Lord is always victorious because everyone acts under His direction. And then, but how? How is the Lord doing it? Ojah saha bala pranaham, sorry, Ojah saho balam pranam amrutam mrityum evacha tam ajnaya jano hetum atmanam manyate jadam. Although as good as stone, yeah, Jada Bharat, yeah, one who is inert, who is stable, who doesn't move, who has no emotions. Our sensory prowess, mental power, bodily strength, living force, immortality, mortality are all subject to the superintendence of the Supreme Lord. Not knowing this, hmm, foolish people think the dull material body to be the cause of their activities. How can a table move on its own? How can a hammer uh, do its job on its own? It's not possible. But we may think that this whole machinery in today, factories, all these are running. How is that running? It is running through energy. How is that energy coming? Is the man producing the energy? No, he is just tapping energy from the nature. So we can already see here all our advancement is heavily dependent on the energy, and this energy is not produced by us. No, no, come on, how can you say that? We are producing atomic energy by nuclear fusion and nuclear fission, all these things, yeah, we can able to produce. Or come on, we have created these solar panels that are taking the sun. No, we have also produced these turbines which are producing electricity just by the water. So what is happening? I think in school days we have also read something called law of conservation of energy, and it is said energy is neither produced nor destroyed. Does anyone remember that? Hmm?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Energy is what it
Neither
runs.
created or destroyed.
Yeah.
It can
And
form
yeah, there are
other.
so many energy transformations. Sometimes it could be kinetic energy, sometimes potential energy, or some different energies. Yeah, in spiritual sense, we can say. So, which means how much can we be proud of it? Hmm? Not knowing this, foolish people think that the dull material body to be the cause of their activities. यथा दूरं यथा दारुमयी नारी यथा पत्रमयो मृगः एवं भूतानि मघवन् ईशा तंत्राणि विद्धि वो. The example given here is as a wooden doll. As a wooden doll is not able to dance on its own. Yeah, you may have seen puppet shows, the kids like that, and also sometimes we also get interested in the way how the dolls are moving their hands up or the head. All these things are so nice. As a wooden doll of a woman or an animal made of grass is under the control of a puppeteer. Hmm? Evam Bhutani Maghavan, all the living beings are under the control of the Supreme Controller. And then Isha Tantrani Vidhi Bo, no one is independent. There is no one who is independent because everything is under the control of the Lord. In the purport, Prabhupada refers Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Ara Sabha Bhratya. So this is means who is the Ishwar? Only Krishna. Ekale. Only there is one controller. Who is that? Who is the Ishvara means controller. Who is that? Krishna. Ara Sabha Bhratya. Everyone else is his servants. Yare yeche nachaya se taiche kare nritya. And then how what is happening? Everyone is they dance as he makes them do so. And Prabhupada mentions, we are all servants of Krishna. We have no independence. We are dancing according to the desire of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But out of ignorance and illusion, we think we are independent of the Supreme Will. But Krishna is the cause of all causes. Then the 11th one, it said, Purusha Prakritir Vyaktam Atma Bhutendriyashaya Saknuvanti Asya Sargadau Navina Yad Anugrahat. He says there are these three Purusha avatars, yeah, the three Karana Dakshai Vishnu, Garbha Dakshai Vishnu, Shira Dakshai Vishnu, the material nature, the total material energy, the false ego, the five material elements, the material senses, the mind, I mean, all these 24 elements cannot create material manifestation without the direction of the Supreme Lord. As we discussed, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, which means everything is already created, and without the direction of the Lord, nothing can happen. In fact, Vishnu Puran, Parasya Brahmana Shaktis Tatedam Akhilam Jagat. Whatever manifestations we experience are nothing but various energies of the Lord. As previously we discussed. These energies cannot create anything independently. This is also, which means even if water is helping us to create electricity, it is not creating independently. Yeah, isn't it? What is the direction of the water flows? In which direction it flows?
Towards gravity, Prabhuji, downwards.
Gravity. What is the gravitational energy?
Full energy, Prabhuji.
It is the energy of the Lord because the Lord is empowering each planet. Hmm? Empowering each planet and everything is functioning because they have this energy. Uh, so we can see that again the Lord's energy is the cause. This material nature is working under my direction. Maya Dyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sachararcharam. Everything is under my direction. Is saying, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving living beings. Only under the direction of the Lord, the Supreme Person, can Prakriti, which is manifested in 24 elements, create different situations for the living entities. So in the Vedas, Lord says, Madiyam, it's me, Madiyam Mahimanam cha Paro Brahmeti Shabditam Vedasya Anugrahitam me Samprasnair Vivratam Hridi. Since everything is a manifestation of my energy, I am known as Parabrahma. Therefore, everyone should hear from me about my glorious activities. Uh, Krishna is saying, in fact, Aham Adirhi Devanam. I am the origin of all the demigods. Srila Madhvacharya also says, Anisha Jiva Rupena. The living entity is Anisha, means never the controller. He is not Isha, but he is Anisha. Ani means one who is follower. Therefore, when a living entity becomes proud of being an independent Ishvara, that is his foolishness. Such foolishness is described in the next verse. In the 12th verse, it is said, ignorant fools think themselves creator. It is said, Abhidvan means who fools. Abhidvan evam atmanam manyate anisham ishvaram bhutai shrajati bhutani grasate tani tai swayam. So in that, what a fool is doing, he is, although always dependent, he falsely thinks himself the supreme. If one thinks according to one's previous fruitive actions, one's material body is created by father and mother, and the same body is annihilated by another agent, as another animal is devoured by a tiger. This is not proper understanding. Yeah, now the question is, come on, how can this be true? After all, the cause of our existence in this world is who? Our father and mother. Because of them, we are in this planet. So, no, that is not complete understanding, or that is not proper understanding. The Supreme Lord Himself creates and devours the living beings through other living beings. It is who is the creator here? Again, the Lord. So Vritrasura is inspiring Indra, saying so. According to the conclusion of philosophy known as karma mimansa, one's karma or previously fruitful activity is the cause of everything, and therefore there is no need to work. Yeah, I think we are getting also closer to Damodar month. We will also, I think, definitely come to go through again Govardhan Leela to understand the causes, the ultimate cause. But before that, Krishna is testing, uh, and in that he brings this up, karma mimansa, karma siddhanta. Those who arrive at this conclusion are foolish, thinking that it's only karma. Because if you think it is only karma, just like in Buddhism, if karma is everything, karma eva kevalam, no, it doesn't work, because it's not that the karma has brought us to this world. Amazing, right? Yeah. We see, no, in previous life we have done something, and okay, but then how is it that we are brought to this world when we have done some karma? Is it just happening because of some gravitational pull of the parents that they are remembering? And no, there is this there is this superintendent who is deciding where the jiva has to go based on his karma. So there is also a higher superior energy that is taking care of that. When a father creates a child, he does not do so independently. He is induced to do so by the Supreme Lord. As the Lord Himself says, Sarvasya Charam Hridi Sannivishtam. So similarly, therefore, the father and mother are not the creators of the living entity. According to living entity's karma, which is fruit to actions, activities, he is put into the semen of the father, who injects the living entity into the womb of mother. Then, according to the body of the mother and father, yatha yoni yatha bijam, the living entity accepts the body and takes birth to suffer or enjoy. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is the original cause of one's birth. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is also cause of one's being killed. No one is independent, everyone is dependent. The true conclusion is that the only independent person is Supreme Lord. Ayushri कीर्तिर् ऐश्वर्यम् आशीषः पुरुषस्य या भवन्ति एव हि तत्काले यथा निच्चर viparyayaha. Means a man's longevity, opulence, fame, power, and other blessings arise according to a favorable time. Tat kale. Bhavanti eva, appearing. Bhavan means creation. Bhavanti eva tatkale, he tatkale. Similarly, the opposite arises according to time, although one is unwilling. So time is the factor. huh? Just as a person not inclined to die must nonetheless give up his longevity, opulence, everything, one can gain all these when the Supreme Lord awards them by His mercy. So everything is still in the hands of the Lord. So the conclusion in the purport, there is 13th verse. The conclusion is that even though we do not wish to be separated from our possessions, sometimes the Lord forcibly takes them from us, and sometimes He showers such benedictions upon us that we are unable to receive them all. Yeah, this morning I was remembering my father. Yeah, uh, there when he was in the later phase of his life, there were so many things around him. There were so many very dear, which, yeah, we would even swap with new things. No, he was living with bare minimum, uh, and I don't know. These things have served him so long, so many years. Even if the things wanted to go with him, they couldn't go. Hmm? And of course, he cannot even think to take them because he is not attached to these things. So that is the condition. Therefore, either in opulence or in distress, we are not independent. Everything is dependent on the sweet will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But we can see when Tukaram ji, no, sorry, when Dhruva Maharaj was taken to the Vaikunta, at that time he was saying, "What about my mother?" And he said, "There is another plane ready." A devotee, with his devotional strength, he can command the mercy of the Lord. Command means not in a very very powerful way, by pushing the command. The command here is the Lord is pleased to serve such devotees. तस्मात् अकीर्ति यशसोर जयापजययोर अपि समः स्याम सुख दुःखाभ्याम मृत्यु जीवितयो तथा. So, since everything is dependent on the supreme will of the Lord, one should be equipoised in fame and defamation, victory and defeat, life and death, in their effects represented as happiness and distress. One should maintain oneself equilibrium without anxiety. सत्वं रजस् तमस् इति नात्मनो गुणा तत्र साक्षिणी सॉरी साक्षिणम् आत्मानं यो वेद स न बध्यते. So one who knows the three qualities, these are not qualities of the soul but qualities of material nature, and who knows that the pure soul is simply an observer of the actions and reactions of these qualities, uh, should be understood to be liberated. Hmm. Krishna says the same in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, the last chapter, almost the last verses. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kanchati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. He says, in that state he attains pure devotional service unto me. What is that state? He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity in that state. So we can see Vritrasura is in that state because he is able to, though he is in a battlefield, he is able to instruct Indra to fight. Uh, so Pasyamam Nirjitam Shatru Vriknayuda Bhujam Mride Gatamanam Yatha Shakti Tava Prana Jihir Shaya. Yeah. So he's saying, see me, just look at me. I have already been defeated, for my weapon and arm have been cut to pieces. You have already overwhelmed me, but nonetheless, with a desire to kill you, I am trying my best to fight. I am not at all morose, even under such adverse conditions. Therefore, you should give up your moroseness and continue fighting. So Vritrasura was so great and powerful that in effect he was acting as the spiritual master of Indra. Prabhupada is writing that. Although Vritrasura was on the verge of defeat, he was not at all affected. He knew that he was going to be defeated by Indra and he voluntarily accepted that. But since he was supposed to be Indra's enemy, he tried to his best to kill Indra. Thus he performed his duty. So this is also, I mean, yeah, another very important principle for us. What is our capacity to understand Vritrasura's greatness or Indra's greatness? For us, we are such a struggling with our own mind and ego. So we can take whether it is Vritrasura who is saying or Indra who is saying, who is glorifying the Lord and the cause of yeah, all causes. We take it, and here we see that one should take up to the duty, not be just carried away with the results. And Vritrasura is saying one should perform his duty under all circumstances, even though one may know what the result will be. Prana glahoyam samara ishvaksho vahanasana atra na jnayate musya ज्ञानते मुस्य जयो मुस्य parajaya. Amusya means of that one. It came twice. Amusya of that one. Yeah, okay. So this 17th is last. He is just instructing Indra, inspiring Indra to begin, to resume the fight. Consider this battle a gambling match. Yeah? This match to be a gambling match. This is a very nice analogy. Yeah. Prana glaha. Life is at stake, isn't it? Life is at stake, in which our lives are at stake in this gambling match. Uh, Samara. Ishu aksha. The arrows are dice. We know, just like when we throw the dice, we never know what number is going to come and whether it is favorable or unfavorable, or seemingly favorable or unseemingly favorable, or seemingly unfavorable. But yeah, we are just playing the game, right? So, Ashu Akshaha, the arrows are the dice. Vahana Asana, the carriers such as horses and elephants are the game board. Atra, here in this gambling match, na jnayate amushya. We don't know who is victorious. Amushya, Jaya, Amushya, Parajaya. We don't know. It all depends on providence. So after hearing to all this, Shukadeva Goswami is narrating for Indra Vritya Vacha Shrutva Galalikam Apujayat Grita Vajra Prahasams Tam Aha Gata Vishmayo. He's wondered, first of all, that he will be losing, but he has given up all this wonder also after hearing to Vitrasura. Vitrasura, as a spiritual master of, has become this spiritual master of Indra and instructed the highest philosophy that everything has to be done as to please the Lord, and that is the duty. And whether one is dying or one is living longer, or if one is experiencing happiness or not, so he said one should engage in his services. Hearing that straightforward, instructive words of Ritrasura, King Indra praised him and again took the thunderbolt in his hand without bewilderment or duplicity. He then smiled and spoke to Ritrasura. Ah, there is this connection. I am just checking, it is here. Yeah, in the 18th verse, in the purport, you can see King Indra, the greatest of the demigods, was astonished to hear the instructions of Ritrasura, who was supposed to be a demon. But then, with some intelligence, could speak so intelligently is possible that, yes, because he remembered great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj, who had been born in the families of demons, and thus he came to his senses. Even so-called demons sometimes have exalted devotion for the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Indra smiled reassuringly at Vritrasura. So he is not just thinking. Uh, now he has clarity. Who is this person whom he is challenging? Indra Vacha Aho Danava Siddho Si Yasyate Matir Idrishi Bhakta Sarvatmanatmanam Suhrad Jagat Ishwaram. Indra said, "O great demon, I see by your discrimination and endurance in devotional service. Endurance is very important in our life. Despite your dangerous position, that you are a perfect devotee of the Lord, the super soul and friend of everyone." Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport. Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nabikam tata Yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. So, established in Krishna consciousness, one never departs from the truth. And upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. So this is a litmus test, yeah, or litmus paper test where we are seeing are we acidic or are we alkaline, are we neutral? What does that mean? Maybe I'm seeing first time is sometimes we are very angry, like acidic in nature, or sometimes we are very lazy, like alkaline in nature. Yeah, how do we come to a neutrality? How do we understand? We come to this is being situated in a such position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of great difficulty. Which means when the difficulty is coming, are we becoming angry or are we becoming, morose or sad? And yeah, no, when we are equipped, that shows that we have confidence in the plan of the Lord. An unalloyed devotee is never disturbed by any kind of trying circumstances. Indra was surprised to see Vritrasura undisturbed, was fixed in devotional service, for such a mentality is impossible for a devotee. However, by the grace of the Lord, anyone can become an exalted devotee. Striyo, Vaishyo, Tatha, Shudro, Te api yanti param gatim. Anyone can become successful to attain. So, an unalloyed devotee is sure to return home back to Godhead. Bhavan, Bhavan Atharsin Mayam Vaishnavim. Vaishnavim means the material energy. Vaishnavim Jana Mohinim Yad Vihayasuram Bhavam Maha Purushatam Gataha. You have surmounted the illusory energy of Vishnu, which is called Vaishnavim. And because of this liberation, you have given up that demonic mentality and have attained the position of an exalted devotee. So, Lord Vishnu here is Mahapurusha. Therefore, one who becomes a Vaishnava attains the position of Mahapaurusha. This position was attained by Maharaj Parikshit. It is said in Padma Puran that the distinction between a demon and a demigod is that a demigod is a devotee of Lord Vishnu, whereas a demon is just the opposite. Vishnu Bhakta Smrito Daiva Asura Tad Viprayaya. Vitrasura was considered a demon, but actually he was more than qualified as a devotee or Mahapaurusha. Mahapaurusha. If one somehow becomes a devotee of the Lord, whatever his position, he can be brought to the position of a perfect person. This is possible if an unalloyed devotee tries to serve the Lord by delivering him in this way. So, if we endeavor ourselves to practice this principle that whatever may be the situation, I want to become unalloyed devotee of the Supreme Lord, then our life is successful. Shukadev Goswami in the second canto is mentioning Kirata, Hunandra, Pulinda, Pulkasa, all these places, people doesn't matter who are they from, Abhira, Sumbha, Yavana, even Yavanas, Kashadaya, ये अन्ये च पाप यद अपाश्रयाश्रया सुदनन्ति तस्मै प्रभविष्णवे नमः. It is said whether one is Kirata, one coming from Kirata, or they belong to Kirata community or Hunas community or Andhra community or Pulinda community or Pulkasa or Abhira, Samba, Yavana and many members of Kasha race and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotee of the Lord, for he is supreme power. And in that it is said, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord. Anyone can be purified if he takes shelter of the pure devotee and molds his character according to the pure devotee's direction. Then, even if one is Kirata, no, Kirata, we say Kirata means one who is rogue, or one is Andhra, or Pulinda, or whatever he can be purified and elevated to the position of Maha Paurushya. How much time we have? Okay. So it is a great wonder that although you are a demon influenced by passion, you have firmly fixed your mind on the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, Suddha Sattva. He says, it is It is Khalva idam mahad ascharya yad rajah prakrite tava Vasudeve Bhagavati Sattvatmani Dridamatihi. He's saying, Oh Vritrasura, I am amazed, I am surprised to see what a great wonder it is that although you are a demon, you have adopted the mentality of a devotee and have fixed your mind on the Supreme Lord Vasudeva, who is always situated in pure goodness. As for Prahlad Maharaj, he was initiated by Narad Muni, therefore it was possible for him to become a great devotee, although he was born in family of demon. For Vritrasura, however, Indra could not detect such causes, therefore he was struck with wonder that Vritrasura was such an exalted devotee that he could fix his mind without deviation upon the Lord's feet of Vasudeva. How is it possible? यस्य भक्तिर भगवती हरौ निःश्रेयसेश निःश्रेयसेश्वरे विक्रीडतो मृताम्बोधौ किं क्षुद्रै कात खातकोदकैः ditches of water. Okay, a fixed person in the devotional service. This is mentioned. This is another analogy, nice analogy. Which says a person fixed in bhakti to the Supreme Lord Hari, the Lord Hari of the highest auspiciousness, he swims in the ocean of nectar. What is the use of water in small ditches for him? He is having abundant ocean, that too of nectar. In the purport, Prabhupada refers that Vritrasura has formerly prayed, na naka prastham na cha parameshtyam na sarvabhauma na rasadhipatyam. I don't want anything. I don't want a residence in Brahmaloka, Swargaloka, Dhruvaloka, not to speak of earth or lower planets. I simply want to return home back to Godhead. This is what he was saying. This is the determination of pure devotee. A pure devotee is never attracted to any exalted position within this material world. He simply wants to associate with the Supreme Lord. Huh? Like the inhabitants of Vrindavan, that is the topmost. What is that? Aradhyo Bhagavan. Aradhyo Bhagavan Nanda Sutta. Rajendra Nandana, yeah. This is said when it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, he said, this is my opinion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explicitly saying, Aradhya, if one wants to worship anyone, the best form of worship is unto Rajendra Tanaya or Rajendra Nandana, I forgot that. And the next one is, if one wants to serve, it is like Vadhuvara of Vrindavana. Uh, Tat Vrindavana Vadhu. Maybe I'll refer that tomorrow. Yeah. So he says one should serve Krishna in the form of inhabitants of Vrindavana. These are the highest ambitions of the devotee of Krishna. Devotees of Lord Vishnu may aspire for the position in Vaikuntha, but a devotee of Krishna never aspires even for the facilities of Vaikuntha. He wants to return to Goloka Vrindavan, associate with Lord Krishna in his eternal pastimes. Any material happiness is like water in a ditch, whereas the spiritual happiness eternally enjoyed in the spiritual world is like ocean of nectar. And going forward, yeah, we'll speed up a bit. So, Sri Sukha Uvacha iti Bhruvanam Anyanyo Anyonyam Dharma Jigyasaya Nripa Yuyudhate Mahavirya Indra Vritra Yudham Pati. After this, both of them were great fighters and were equally powerful. Then, as a matter of duty, they again began fighting. Avidya, Avidya, it's not Avidya, Avidya, Parigram Vritraha, Kashna Yasham Arindama, Indraya, Prahinod Ghoram, Vama Hastena Marisha. Now Indra has thrown, cut the left hand of, sorry, let me, who was completely able to subdue his enemy, Vritrasura, took his right club and whirled it around, aimed it at Indra, and then threw it at him with his left hand. So, after this, what happened? Indra, he Satu Vritrasya Parigram parigraham karam cha karabopanam bopamam सिचेद्द युगपद देवो वज्रेण शतपर्वण with the thunderbolt called Shataparvan he has cut that club of Vritrasura into pieces. And now what happened now not only that he cut the club, he also cut the second hand, the left hand also. And then Dorbhyam Utkritta Mulabhyam Babhau Rakta Shrava Suraha Chinna Praksho Chinna Paksho Yatha Gotra Khad Bhrashto Vajrina Hataha. So now nothing is left, right? Then what happened? He was profusely bleeding with his two arms cut off at their roots. Looked very beautiful like a flying mountain whose wings have been cut to pieces by Indra. And then Mahaprano Mahaviryo Mahasarpa Iva Dvipam Kritva Hanum Bhumau Daityo Divya Uttaram Hanum Nabho Gambhira Vaktrena Leliholbhana Jihvaya Damshtrabhi Kala Kalpabhir Grasan Iva Jagat Trayam Atimatra Mahakaya Akshipan Tarasa Girin Girirat Pada Sara Chariva Padbhyam Nirjarayan Mahim Chagrasa Samasadhya Vajrinam Saha Vahanam. So all this happened. Then there is this fight that happened, which was trembling. It was so uh, deep, intense, this fight that Vritrasura swallowed Indra. Yeah, he became huge, gigantic, and he swallowed Indra. Not only Indra, he even swallowed the Airavata on which he was sitting. Hmm. Just as a big python might swallow an elephant. This is how he did. He came before Indra and swallowed him and Airavata, his carrier, just like a big python. Vritra grastam tam alokya saprajapataya sura ha kastam iti nirvinnas uh, chukru chukrushuhu chukrushu samaharshaya. Then everything, oh, what happened is when the demigod along with Brahma and other Prajapatis and great saintly persons saw that Indra had been swallowed by the demon, they became very morose and they said, "Oh, what a calamity! What a calamity! Nigirnopsi asurendrena na mamarodaram gata mahapurusham sannadho yoga maya balena cha." And then, but what, uh, uh, but what Indra did, because he had this talisman that is there, and this Narayana Kavacha, which is protecting him. Uh, the protective armor of Narayana, which Indra possessed, was identical with Narayana himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Protected by that armor and by his own mystic power, Indra, although swallowed by Vritrasura, did not die within the demon's belly. भित्त्वा व्रजेन तत् कुक्षिं निष्क्रम्य बलभिद् विभुः उचकर्त शिरः शत्रोर्गिरिशृङ्गम् इवौजसा. And then, with his thunderbolt, he has pierced Vritrasura abdomen, and he came out and huh, came out. Indra, the killer of the demon Bala, then immediately cut off Vritrasura's head, which was as high as the peak of a mountain. And how much time he took? Vajrastu tat khandaram asuvega krintan samantat parivartamana nrupatayat tavad ahar gunena sorry ganena yo jyotisham ayane vartra hatye. So in this way he has killed for 360 days. Yeah, he was just cutting the head with his weapon that he had. Then at a suitable time for Vitrasura to be killed, his head fell to the ground. तदा चखे दुन्दुभयो विनेदुर्गन्धर्वसिद्धा समहर्षिसङ्घाः वार्त्रा घ्न लिङ्गैस्तं Abhishtuvana Mantrair Muda Kusumair Abhavarsan. When Vritrasura was killed in this way, then everyone praised Indra and showered flowers upon him with great pleasure. And Vritrasya Dehan Nishkrantam Atma Jyotir Arindam Pasyatam Sarva Devanam Alokam Samapadyata. And then what happened is very important. I think in the purport, yeah, this is the last purport and very important purport of this chapter. Hmm. What happened is Shukadev Goswami is saying, "O King Parikshit, the living spirit then came forth from Vritrasura's body and returned home back to Godhead. While all the demigods looked on, he entered the transcendental world to become an associate of Lord Sankarshana." If you remember in the last or previous chapter, we were seeing what were the prayers that Vritrasura offered. Is yeah, that may he become eternal associate servant of Lord Sankarshana. Now a very important secret is revealed by the Acharya, our Acharya here. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Indra, not Vritrasura, was actually killed. Hmm. He says that when Vritrasura swallowed King Indra and his carrier, the elephant, he thought, "Now I have killed Indra and therefore there is no more need of fighting. Now let me return home back to Godhead." So if you see two verses before, that is the inner meaning where Vritrasura, after he has swallowed, it means that Indra has is killed already, and because he thought now he has killed, and then what he did, now my duty is complete. Let me get into trance in samadhi so that I can leave the body uh, and go back to Godhead. So that was the reason why. Thus, he stopped all his bodily activities and became situated in trance. Now, what happened is taking advantage of the silence of Vritrasura's body. Indra pierced the demon's abdomen, and because of Vritra's trance, Indra was able to come out. Now, Vritrasura was in Yoga Samadhi, and therefore, although King Indra wanted to cut his throat, uh, the demon's neck was so stiff that Indra thunderbolt took 360 days to cut it into pieces. Actually, it was the body left by Vitrasura that was cut, which means by the time Indra was already killing Vritrasura, Vitrasura in his samadhi, in trance, he has already left the body. So he took 1 year to cut the body, the head of Vritrasura who was already dead. Vritrasura himself was not killed. Huh? Uh, Actually, it was not the body left by Vritrasura that was cut to pieces by Indra. Vritrasura himself was not killed. In his original consciousness, Vritrasura returned home back to Godhead to become an associate of Lord Sankarshana. Here, the word alokam means the transcendental world, Vaikuntha Loka, where Sankarshana eternally resides. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So much drama, isn't it? Hemagori Mataji. Or Pranali Mataji, Radhikali Mataji. Anyone? How was that? I think we are hearing second time because when we were reading about King Chitraketu, at that time we covered this. We went. Was it at Krishna Seva Prabhu's home, Rupa? I think we covered Chitraketu's pastime, 3 days Bhagavat Sapta.
Yeah. Yeah.
At that
So
time,
Srila Mataji Krishna
at that
Seva.
yeah, at that time we also went to understand who was this Chitraketu who became um, yeah, Vritrasura. So very happy to once again read the great deeds of Vritrasura. He's instructing even at the last moment of his life, not caring about it, but rather taking devotional life as the duty to fulfill.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. It was so beautiful that we have to go as per the fate, as already Vritrasura understood.
Hmm.
So it's his duty that he should go through. Yeah, it's very nice, Prabhuji. So much things, so many things to learn also from this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apply to our life. It's very
Yeah, though it's a very short chapter, small, that 35 verses is not big, but we can always come back to this chapter to get inspiration. Yeah, it's not, we are talking about exalted devotees. Of course, Vitrasura is exalted devotee, definitely. In disguise, he was taking the role of Asura. But we can see how one can, if one follows the duty, yeah, the spirit, what is the spirit that we need in devotional life is what we can see from Vritrasura. Anyone else? Maybe Pranali Mataji? I don't know. We are little over time, but usually, yeah, we initially, when we started 4 years back or 3 years back, we said 7:30 to 8:15. But slowly we understand that it is 7:30 to 9 is typical minimum time, or yeah, realistic time we can give for this nice, um, yeah, Shravanam. Okay, anyone?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. It was nice. And yeah, it's again showing that to be focused
Mm-hmm.
on the lotus feet and just be devoted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Here we can see that yeah, such a person becomes automatically the spiritual master, isn't it? Yeah, here Vritrasura, Indra is saying, oh, he is seeking instructions from Vritrasura. Yeah. So, which means spiritual master can come in in the instructions through the people who we are around here. Sometimes we may see we are going on a road, and if someone is behaving very strongly upon us, then okay, yeah, we have to understand why, rather than we think about ill about the person. Rather, we understand this person is angry on us, or this person is abusing us, or whatever. We can see, okay, when we become devotee, for us, it's we are in the right frame to understand the instructions of the spiritual master, instructions of the Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other realizations or thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful recitation, Prabhuji, as always. And yes, Prabhuji, when we hear to these kind of kathas, it kind of tells us how elevated devotees are and how much, how great their standards are, but at the same time, how compassionate they are to others, flaws. So, and one small reflection, Prabhuji, like, even Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they were also devotees, Prabhuji, but they were not, in this mode of realization, and because, this Asura, right, he kind of
Mm.
also reflects the qualities of the Lord, etc. Even in the battlefield when his arms are chopped off. So I'm not able to understand. He seems to be very unique Asura, Prabhuji, compared to others.
Mm. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So sometimes the asuras are not by birth. Yeah, asuras. There is also a reason why someone becomes an asura. This is what we will read from next week. We are going to start reading about. Of course, we will read about the sinful reactions that are inflicted because of killing a great devotee like Vritrasura. That is the chapter next one. But then we will again very quickly go through Chitraketu's pastime, who became actually Vritrasura. That will
Yes,
be amazing because we can see the glories of Chitraketu, and because Chitraketu is such a great advanced devotee, but because of the curse, that's why he becomes Vritrasura. So actually, we can see uh, whatever you said, right? The associates in the Vaikunta were cursed. Jaya and Vijaya became Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, right? So here we
yes,
can see for some others, some other great devotee, Gandharva, he becomes a victim of a curse, and then that's why we can see that he is anyway devotee, but
yes,
also had to take a life like that.
yes, Prabhuji. Even I was there, Prabhuji, in that katha that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have.
yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Thank you,
It
Prabhuji.
will be very nice to go through that again. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then, yeah, thank you very much for joining, and we will close this session. I don't know why this language is always going back to Hindi, though I'm speaking English. Maybe because of shlokas in the middle. Yep. Okay, then thank you very much. Vanchakalparabhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hemagori Mataji and Parth Prabhu, can you stay for a minute?